Hey, good Sunday afternoon. It is May 10th, 2026. Happy Mother's Day to all the moms out there. Somewhat of a cooler day throughout the day as we've seen some cloud cover move in. We've got winds back out of the north. We've had a weak cold front move through. Still not a bad afternoon, though, for this time of year. And the rain really holding off in southern Illinois. Notice most of the wet weather diving out across the Red River Valley between Texas and Oklahoma. And that's where most of the moisture will remain. Unfortunately, we're just not going to see much in the way of wet weather here through the next 5 to 7 days across our region. And once again, we could still use it. The latest drought monitor, these are come out each Thursday. And so we have seen some improvement over the last few weeks. A couple rain chances there and a couple, maybe 1 to 2 inches of rainfall the last week and a half or so across much of southern Illinois. But you'll see that some areas are now in severe drought, especially right along the Ohio River. And then further north, still on the dry side, abnormally dry conditions in the yellow. And then in between that, from Marion southward to, say, Vienna, over towards Anna, Golconda, Rosiclare, E-Town, southern sections of Gallatin County coming in with moderate drought. I don't think that the drought monitor really shows the entire picture. So I wanted to look at soil moisture for those that may be in agriculture, and you'll see that we are really, really dry in sections of southeastern Illinois. So right across, say, eastern Franklin County into Hamilton and White, parts of Saline County, these are some of the areas that are extremely dry when it comes to soil moisture. So again, we need some more rain, and it's been really a little odd. They've had a lot of wet weather out across the northern half of the U.S., so we've actually seen flood warnings along the Mississippi River. Rivers come up quite a bit, but we just have not seen a lot of substantial rainfall here in our area. And look at this, next 5 days, we're talking about less than 1/10 of an inch of rainfall. And it really, if we look out for the next 2 weeks, there are some chances for some showers and thunderstorms out there. But when you're talking about May, it's one of our wetter months of the year, and an inch or more, well, the probability is about 70 to 80% across southern Illinois over the next 2 weeks. When you start taking that up to 2 inches or more of rainfall, now this is throughout the entire period for the next 2 weeks, you're talking about less than a 50% chance. And again, that is actually below average, drier than average for this time of year. So once again, not a lot showing up here in the long-range forecast either for rainfall. We appreciate you joining us each week. These weekly weather videos brought to you by Clark Mix On-Site Concrete and Concrete Pumping, located on the east side of Marion. If you've got a project that you're working on, maybe a patio that you need poured, give those guys a call. They are great to work with. 618-997 3889, and they will get you fixed up. All right, let's look out for temperatures as well. Kind of look for the next 7 days, and then also look out ahead to the next 14 days, kind of getting towards the end of May at that point. But here we go throughout this week. Notice big trough across the eastern half of the U.S. That is going to keep some cooler air in place for a couple of days to start the week, but by the second half of the week, this ridge that starts to build right here across the central U.S., that is going to start ushering in some very warm weather. Warmest weather we've actually seen so far this season, likely on the way late this week and into next weekend. There it is. That big ridge kind of holds on well into next week. What that means is we're going to start seeing temperatures climb up pretty quickly. So here you go to start the week. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Temperatures running pretty close to average for this time of year. Look at Friday. There's the jump. We start to make that jump into the mid-80s Friday afternoon. And then Saturday and Sunday, right now it's looking pretty likely that we are going to see our first 90-degree temperatures of the season. So if you're a pool owner and maybe you've been holding off, this is your sign. Maybe you need to start getting that thing opened up out ahead of some of this summer-like weather in store for us here as we head into next weekend. All right, so where does the warm weather go beyond that? This is next weekend, continuing. Notice the storm system. These are troughs out across the upper U.S. and into Canada. They really just never make it into the central U.S. In fact, we stay in this southwest flow, a lot of ridging across the eastern half of the U.S., and what that's going to do is that's going to keep warm air in place, and eventually could start seeing some better rain chances towards the end of the month if that southwest flow kind of keeps up. And we'll have to keep an eye. There's a storm system there towards the end of the month that we might start seeing that make its way into the central U.S. That could trigger some better rain chances. But again, that's still a long ways off. All right, so for the 6 to 10 day temperature outlook, we're talking about well above average temperatures. Jet stream's going to go way to the north up into Canada. So that is going to usher in the first 90s of the season across much of the southern U.S., but likely even into southern Illinois as well. And then looking out 8 to 10, 14-day temperature outlook. So that puts us for the next couple of weeks staying above average. So quite a bit of warm weather in store for us here as we get into the second half of May. Here's your 7-day forecast. A couple shower chances. That's our next rain chance. Comes in here late Tuesday night, early Wednesday morning. Not expecting much in the way of rain with that, but a couple passing showers possible. Again, very late Tuesday night and very early Wednesday morning. Not expecting that to be around for much of the daylight hours on Wednesday. Thursday, Friday, dry days, and then there's the warm weather starting to really kick in towards next weekend. Afternoon highs in the lower 90s Saturday and Sunday, and maybe a chance for a couple pop-up showers and thunderstorms. Summer-like pattern taking hold as we get into next Saturday and Sunday.